the story I'm going with, even though I know it's not true. I just like to, whenever I see something good, I like to, yeah, I think I genuinely believe that it always does me.
So let's keep going down the hill.
Yes, we will.
So we're on Coldwater Canyon, ladies and gentlemen. The light is green,
light is
so
green.
we are
Yes.
allowed to.
Luke is an anxious passenger, but that's okay because that was anxiety was fair in that situation. You don't need to stop at a green light in Coldwater Canyon. There's no need for that.
My last girlfriend was passive, and so she would let me bully her, which is not a very attractive part of myself. There are so many. That's one I would like bully her when she would drive. I'd say, stop, go left, go right, hurry up, pass this honk. And we'd almost get into so many accidents because I'd just be bullying her, and she'd just be like absolutely shot. The nerves would be shot, and the reactions would get all screwed up. And I was just bully because I could.
Right.
And then now the problem is now I get into other people's cars, and I've gotten all these bullying habits ingrained in me from 2 years of bullying this like sweet little girl.
Well, I will tell you that it's about you don't need to. You can feel free to do that with me just because I won't get rattled. I've driven. And I know. No, driving is. I've always said if you're going to have a physical fear, driving is a reasonable one to have. So I don't hold it against you.
My favorite type of woman, the women that I'm attracted to, masculine women, not ones with beards. I don't like beards, and I don't like an excess of muscles. But I like really responsible, take charge, accomplished, socially adjusted, like women who are different from me.
Right.
Like, because like if they were like tortured artist blogger types. I probably wouldn't go for them, but I like, the socially adjusted, socially accomplished, like hard, strong, tough women. But I've gotten into these bad bullying habits the past 2 years, so now it's interesting. I start bullying these chicks who are like 10 times as tough as I am, and I realize how absolutely futile it is and how silly it is, but I keep finding myself trying it.
Well, that's good though. I mean, I think being attracted to, that's the yin and the yang thing, You're attracted to someone I think you can kind of learn from in a way.
Yeah.
And so I think that's natural, and I think that's cool. I mean, and if that's who they are, they'll tell you what's up. I mean, if they need you to stop, I think that's it's.
They're just kind of amused.
Right. Well, that's good. I mean, look, I'm certainly. I didn't understand it this way when I was younger, but I do think that in seeking out Kendra and just in general with women, I had been you want someone who you can learn from, not in the way as like they explain shit to you, but in the way they live.
Have you ever had friends or people in your life who so desperately wanted you in their life that they let you bully them? Maybe that hasn't been an issue for you, but it has been for me. Like when people let me bully them, I bully them, and it's really unattractive and not Jewish and not nice, but when I can get away with bullying, I bully.
Well, again, it's very human, but I think that, here's my thing. I have a programmed aversion to feeling, I don't want to feel like a bully. It makes me feel awful. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean I don't bully. It just means that when I'm aware of it, I try to stop. But I think absolutely. I told you I'd spoken to a woman who I was, or maybe I didn't tell you this, who I was with a good long time ago now, when I was 19 and 20. And she told me she had been in therapy a lot since then, and one of the things she was dealing with is why she was, I forget how she put it. It was fairly hard-hitting, something like why I was the type of person who would have been with you. And I was like, yeah, really. But it was honest. I mean, she meant it, and I appreciated that. It was fascinating to hear. And it was because she experienced me as very controlling. Yeah. And bullyish, I think. And okay, well, that's not consistent with my self-image, but tough shit. That was her experience. So I'm just yeah. I
remember in 5th grade there was this somewhat chubby but decent-looking chick who loved me, just had a crush on me, and I kicked her. At times, I literally kicked her till she cried. And she said something about, I love you. And
she said after you kicked her?
Yeah. She said, I love you, and one day you'll find out what it's like to love someone and have them kick you. And I would
tragic little story.
And I would leave tacks on her chair, so that with the
oh my goodness,
the pointy end up. So I'd get left here.
Yeah. No, actually, that was useful because I haven't been down here in a while. So.
I would leave tacks on her chair, so that she'd sit on them on her fat little tush.
Oh.
And she'd tears would spring to her eyes. And I kicked her and left tacks on her desk because she liked me.
Okay, well, look, that's women. It's awful, but the number of women who. Actually, I shouldn't just say it about women. I think it's also true of me in some ways. Like, women, that's true of some guys. Like, women want guys, you know, the more the guys are, like, emotionally unavailable to them, the more desperately they want it.
Right.
I think I do have kind of a, I don't think I realized this before, but the women who I find most enchanting often are kind of emotionally unavailable. so I share the women's fault in that way. But but dude, that's like, you can't, I mean, if that were me, like I would say, oh, I wish I hadn't done that, but I wouldn't. I hope you don't beat yourself up over that, because that's
the memory just came rushing back now in the car. It's like,
but it's so
that was so unattractive.
Well, Luke, I don't know that I would call it unattractive. I would. Attraction is messy. I would say that it's a typical human thing. People take the liberties that they can. They are sometimes revolted by people who
nice
give without ever asking for anything.
Yeah.
It's not the better angel, a better angel of human nature, but I mean it's very human, very human. You know. So I mean, you know, I think my opinion is like you try to notice yourself doing stuff like that, and then you know if you know, then.
I remember in therapy, I would confess things like this to my therapist, and I'd start blushing, and I'd just be all wrecked and ashamed. I have real problems with shame. I get these huge shame attacks, and she'd say, "You are 11 years old."
Yeah.
Like when I left tacks on that girl's desk, I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
And I kicked her. I was 10 years old.
You were
Luke, you were 11 years old.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Well, right. I mean, she also it's also okay to. Yeah.
But I'm still ashamed of these things, and I still carry it with me.
Well, why
gets provoked?
Well, why are you? What do you think because you're ashamed in the present about something that happened in the past. Like what do you? How does it feel like when you feel ashamed? I guess.
Well, like I see Danielle Berrin.
Yeah.
And I know I've written pretty cruelly about her at times.
Right.
And I feel ashamed, and I feel like the guy who put thumbtacks on someone's desk and kicked another girl. It's like, or I think about how I bullied my girlfriend, you know, when she was driving, and I think about my tendencies to bully.
Right.
And like I see people like, perhaps you could say I've bullied them on my website, and then I see them in person and I feel ashamed. But on the other hand, I don't regret anything I wrote. I think it was true and accurate.
Right. Okay.
But it just also feels emotionally like bullying.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean,
it's a little bit like sometimes like picking on a defenseless kid. Like Danielle Berrin's never going to write anything vicious about, you know, anyone online. She's just not.
But she's also not helpless. I mean, we saw today. This is a strong woman, a woman who knows how to look after her own interests.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things I had to deal with, because I've grappled with shame. I don't think is not one of my kind of primary emotional responses, but I've grappled with issues that are similar in some ways. And one of the things I had to deal with was that I had this inflated sense of my own kind of emotional power over other people. It was really overdeveloped. Like in retrospect, like, boy, how did it get that way? But I just felt like, God, there was a disrespect in it. I thought it was because it's like, well, Joey, get over yourself, dude. They've got a whole universe, and you're just a very tiny part of it. Like, what the fuck are you gonna do? Like, you know, and that's not an excuse to be a jerk, but it is. I had to learn humility, actually, in a way, to get over my own sense of my terror of hurting someone, kind of, if that makes any sense.
There's this